Hey guys, I am Pixel Dan, and today we are going to be taking a look at the Masters of the Universe Origins, Point Dread, and Talon Fighter. Very special thanks to Mattel for sending this along for the purposes of this review. This is a set I was pretty excited about when it was announced. I love that we're still getting vehicles and playsets in the Origins line, and this is a vehicle playset hybrid, which is awesome. Another item straight out of the vintage toy line, reimagined for Origins. And we've got to start with the box. Just like on the vintage toy, it's a fully enclosed box with beautiful artwork on there, though the shape of the box was a bit surprising. The vintage one is like a big square box. This one feels smaller, but I assume that the item inside is still going to be the same size as the vintage. You can see it is unassembled. It says it on the box. But just to give you guys an idea, this box measures 17.5 inches across. We got 7 inches here, and then there's a flap on top, which is another, it looks like 5 inches there. So it's still a pretty big size box. It's just shaped a lot different than the vintage one. Covered in absolutely gorgeous artwork. Character selections are really interesting on here. We've got Mini Comics Triclops flying the Roton. We've got the Lords of Power versions of Beastman, Merman, and Man-at-Arms. We've got Skeletor. It's the one with the armor from the Keldor set. And then Zodak is up here, He-Man's in the Talon Fighter. And again, some more beautiful artwork up on the top, depicting Castle Grayskull in the background. Love seeing the villains flying in on the Rotons to attack, while He-Man and Zodak are up there piloting. On the top, we've got those little feature callouts there. Got the illustration of the boy holding on to the handle of the Talon Fighter, just like on the vintage. And of course, this will attach to your Castle Grayskull playset. And rotating around to the side of the box, there's some fun little hidden pieces of artwork here. Like, look at this pterodactyl type beast with this crazy looking dude flying it. That's pretty awesome. The opposite side is pretty awesome too, with Teela riding Battle Cat and Evil Lyn riding Panther doing battle. That's epic. I love it. And then on the back side of the packaging, the bottom, of course, has our cross-sell, has an illustration of the item within the box, also has more action feature callouts here, and above that, we are treated to some more beautiful artwork. We've got Stratos over here. You can see on this piece of artwork, Point Dread is on the peak of a mountaintop, which is pretty cool, and Skeletor is flying in to attack with the Roton. So, amazing box, as always, but let's go ahead and open it up and get a look at the item within. So this is what you get out of the box. So I think it's important to show assembly on this thing. There is an included sheet of instructions that will also show you how to attach everything. Very easy to follow if you need to do that. So let's go ahead and start with the Talon Fighter itself. The vehicle will come out of the box just like this. The canopy is already attached, so you don't have to worry about that. Also, all the stickers and everything are already applied, which is also very nice. So we do have the handle that we'll need to attach to the bottom. And there's only one way you should be able to plug it in. You can see the shape of it fits right there. It snaps in place, and it does pop back out, but it will take some force to do so. So it is that type of plastic where it's designed to snap in and not really come back out, or at least be a little more difficult to come back out. You can see that the feet are the same way. They're designed a specific way. So you got a peg here and a peg system here. Boom, just like that. So there are little kind of like rails right here that will guide the feet in place. You can see the little notches on the feet. So you want to line that up accordingly. Give it a nice press, and that will snap it into place. So there is the feet and the handle, and now it's just down to the wings, which look like they operate very similar to the vintage, where you will put them in place and then kind of slide them to lock them. Let's see if I'm right about that. Rather than just being the slide locks, it looks like you just kind of give them a nice firm press and they clip in place. So they should snap right in there. And then that completes the Talon Fighter itself. Aside from our little radar dish, which will just pop on the top here, just like that. Very cool. Okay, so we've got Point Dread as well. This looks like it separates just like the vintage, though unlike the vintage, we do have a peg right here to clip that in place. We do got like these little inner clips right here as well. So this is all very interesting. It looks like it's designed to be a little more sturdy than that of the vintage. though it also seems like it's a little trickier to actually assemble. There we go. So just kind of got to give it a press, and it locks it in place. Though it still looks like it needs, there we go, a little bit more of a press. Now, the reason for this is because this top part is what you will remove to actually put on Castle Grayskull. This, on this little rocky base right here, is so that it can be by itself. And then you've got the perch, which will clip onto the top up here. And of course, we do have this extra gun as well, which could snap onto that same peg we saw here or onto the top of the Talon Fighter. We'll look more at that later. But otherwise, you just have the little pegs underneath the feet right there. And that completes assembly, so we can get a closer look at the item now. All right, we've got our Talon Fighter and Point Dread outside of the packaging. Just in case you guys are wondering the size of this thing. From the tip of the beak to the back, you're looking at just a hair over 11 inches in length there. And if we attach this to Point Dread, let's bring the camera up here, and we'll get a height on this guy. You're looking at about 12 inches tall, but like if we count the radar dish, you're actually over 13 inches tall. So it's pretty big. It is about the same size as that of the vintage one. And it looks a lot like the vintage one as well. I'm going to move Point Dread off to the side for just a bit because I want to focus on the Talon Fighter itself. Now, I did mention while we were putting it together, you'll see it's got this handle on the back. And this, of course, is a holdover from the vintage line. It was a play feature. It was so that you can hold it and fly it around. But like I showed you, it is also removable. Like, you could pop that off. So if you don't want the handle on there, it's easily removed. And then the Talon Fighter does balance by itself just fine without Point Dread, which is really, really nice. And I gotta say, the overall feel of this is really good. It's sturdy, it's solid, it's pretty lightweight, but it feels like some really strong plastic, which I really appreciate. In fact, it feels better than the vintage one, which always had a bit of a brittleness to it, especially after all these years. So this one does a really nice job of feeling like a good, sturdy toy. It looks a lot like the vintage one, but there are some differences. I like how the eyes on the front are translucent red. I don't know if that's coming across, but those are translucent, and that's actually pretty cool. You still have a bit of the shading here, so it kind of fades into some orange on the top, but for the most part, all of the plastic is just molded in the color that it is. So you got red plastic for the legs. It's a bit of a glossy plastic, but again, feels sturdy, doesn't feel like it's gonna break. The wings stay on so much better than the vintage one since they're actually clipping in place, which is really good. And the canopy on top is bright blue, and it now has a window, which the vintage one did not have. So you can see there's a nice clear window all the way around. There's even some cool like circuitry work on the top window here on the sunroof, which is pretty cool. And then the little blue radar dish can also rotate as well. So the canopy opens just by lifting it up. You'll see it clips in with these little clips right here, but it folds open just like the vintage one. And the details on the inside are just stickers, and they do get the inspiration from the vintage version there. So you can see we got the med kit, some tools, a fire extinguisher, all that kind of stuff. There's a fly swatter back here, which is hilarious. Then you got all the dials and the knobs. There's a little clipboard right there. I don't know, some of the little designs on the stickers are kind of hilarious. You can see center consoles right here also have stickers on them. And what's neat about this is it's actually a two-seater on this one, and we have these handles for the figures to hold on to, which is new for this particular version. So, for example, we can go ahead and fit He-Man over here, and we'll have him grip on to the handles. And he sits in there pretty nicely. You can see lots of leg room, fits in there really good. And then, I don't know, let's say Teela. Let's put Teela as the co-pilot here. There we go. And now we got He-Man and Teela ready to take off in the Talon Fighter. And look at that. Lid closes up really good. You can see them through the windows, which is really fun. Yeah, it actually works really well. It's nice that you can fit two figures in here. And just to try it out, we should also be able to fit two male figures in here as well. So there you go, plenty of room for Man-at-Arms or another figure to sit in the co-pilot seat as well. You can close that up. You can see him. I love that you can just perfectly see him through the windows like that. I think that is really awesome. So honestly, this is a very, very nice vehicle. It's really, really well built. Stays true to the vintage look. They didn't really change or update anything. It looks like they just copied the look of the vintage one, but made it a little bit better. Now, I showed you guys this additional little blaster. This is brand new for the Talon Fighter. It's not something we had with the vintage one. It's just molded in this silvery gray plastic. And there's a couple places you can plug this onto, one of which is up on the top here. If you want to, you can just remove the radar dish from the top, and you'll see it's the same size peg. So in its place, you could put this large turret up here, this blaster, and it rotates. So if you'd rather arm up the Talon Fighter with some extra blasters, they got some molded in on the side over here too, but now you got these extra ones on top if you'd rather have that. So that's a pretty nice touch. So then we got Point Dread, and this is again modeled after the look of the vintage one. It's hollowed out. It feels very much the same as that. You can see it's got the green grayskull brick color. It's got some black shading on there. I'm really curious to see how this matches up with the color of the Origins Castle Grayskull, but otherwise, you know, you got small steps up here, you've got the perch on the top. A lot of this looks exactly the same. Also, this perch can be removed from the top, and again, this is the same peg hole as that turret that I showed you guys, so you can bring that over here and plug that in here as well. So if you don't want to use this as a perch, you can also use it as an extra turret tower, and again, with this being able to attach to Castle Grayskull, it just gives you another option for displaying these. If you want to put like this giant turret on the top of Castle Grayskull, that is something that you can do. So with the perch here back on top, we do have these two peg holes on the bottom that I showed you earlier. They will plug right into the little holes on the bottom of the feet, and it actually is a nice solid fit. You can see it presses down and actually locks this thing in place really good. So that is really nice. It's a very, very sturdy fit. He balances really well. In order to get him off, you kind of have to give a little bit of pressure there just to pop him right off those pegs, but then we are ready for flight. And the inside is pretty cool as well. It's hollowed out on the inside, but what's really neat is this control panel down here, this computer system. On the vintage toy, this was a piece of cardboard that just slid in here. This time around, they actually molded it out of plastic and put stickers on there. So even though it looks the same, it's a very similar design and shape. It will actually hold up a lot better now that it's a plastic piece that's in there. And again, some tools are on there. There's little computer screens, there's dials, all kinds of fun little stuff. Just something extra for the inside here. All right, so moment of truth. We now have to attach this to our Castle Grayskull to see what it looks like. So I've got Origins Castle Grayskull over here. And again, we're just going to attach the top portion of this to Castle Grayskull. So the bottom portion of Point Dread stays as is. Now, of course, if you've got your gun up there, the gun that came with Castle Grayskull, you're going to want to move that out of the way, and then we will bring Point Dread over here, and it should just clip right here. Boom, just like that. It actually fits really well. It snaps into place. And honestly, the colors are pretty good. You obviously got some of the black here, kind of like vintage Castle Grayskull, which there's not a lot of this on the actual Origins Castle Grayskull here, but they did add it to Point Dread. It's not terribly out of place, though. The rest of the green does match up pretty good. Honestly, that's a pretty nice color match there. And now we've got our Talon Fighter sitting on top of Castle Grayskull, which is a pretty great look overall. I'm actually really impressed with this. And of course, this adds a ton of height to your Castle Grayskull. So if you're going to display it like this, make sure you have plenty of room for it. Because now from the bottom of Castle Grayskull to the top of the Talon Fighter, I mean, you're looking at around 28 inches tall, closing in on 29 inches tall. So that's a pretty big space for a display, but it does look very, very cool. Of course, as mentioned, the other thing we can do, if we want, we can remove the perch up here on the top. We'll just bring that back down here, and then we can bring in this brand new gun that we got. We can attach that up here instead. And now you've got this different style of turret on top of your Castle Grayskull. So again, just another cool alternate way to display the pieces that come with this set. All right, guys, it's comparison time. So here it is standing alongside the vintage one over here on the left. This is the Origins one over here on the right. And you can see they're similar looking, but there are some differences. The new Point Dread is smaller than the vintage one. However, the Talon fighter itself seems a little bigger. It's at least a little fatter, probably to allow for more room, the two-seater inside. The wingspan's a little bit bigger on this one as well. And let me just kind of rotate on the side so you can see those there. The colors are a little bit deeper on the vintage, a little brighter on Origins. That really holds true to what we've been seeing with a lot of the Origins stuff. And here so you can see the back sides of them compared as well. As I was talking about before, this right here is just a piece of cardboard in the vintage one. So you can see the difference with the new one there as well. A lot of the designs on the stickers, very similar to that of the vintage. And just for kicks, here's the new Origins Talon Fighter and Point Dread alongside the Masters of the Universe Classics version, which was an absolute beast of a toy. But I still thought it would be fun to show them side by side so you can see the size difference between the two. So there you go, my friends. There is a look at the brand new Masters of the Universe Origins, Point Dread, and the Talon Fighter. All in all, I do really like this one. While some parts of it do seem a little bit smaller, like Point Dread compared to the vintage one, it honestly works really well. I think it's built with sturdy material. It's nice looking, holds true to the vintage look, which seems to be the MO for the Origins line in general, and it attaches very nicely to your Castle Grayskull. It's a great toy that I'm glad they brought back for the Origins lineup. Once again, I want to give a very special thanks to Mattel for sending this over a little bit early so we can get a good look at it outside of the packaging. This is currently available for pre-order at most of your online retailers and is set to ship this summer. Thank you guys so very much for watching, and until next time.